if I nod off, I'll miss 'em. They'll not bother with me if I don't answer the door. Carers, what a bunch. You never know which one you're going to get. You never know when they're going to be here. Put you to bed before you've had a chance to get up some days. That's when they arrive at all. Which is why I've got my eyes peeled now. They ring the bell, and if I'm not quick about answering it, they're off. And another thing. I know you shouldn't be prejudiced, and I'm not. Never have been. Even before all this political rightness came in. But I can't understand some of them. There's this Lithuanian girl. Nice girl. And she's the only one who will fill me a hot water bottle at night. And it has to be said that she speaks better English than I'd speak Lithuanian, whatever. Well, she's not coloured. Can I say black these days? Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, well, she's not black, so it can't be anywhere near the equator, can it, this Lithuanian? I watch the news. I like to keep abreast. Well, you never know who's about these days, do you? And you can't be too careful at my age. And I've seen that fella that was featured on Crime Watch last week. I saw him on the monitor trying to get in here. I swear it was him. Well, he had tattoos. And he was a skinhead. Skinhead with bother boots. Well, I rang the police. But they weren't interested. You can't get anybody to do the job they're paid for these days. Oh, dear me. They said that he'd been apprehended at Bristol. Well, Molly, she's the warden, said that he was the plumber who was going to come here for number 24. Well, I've not seen plumbers with tattoos like that before. And get this, he had a ring through his nose. In my day, only bulls and pigs had rings through their noses, and only sailors had tattoos, and drunken ones at that. I mean, why would you want to do that to yourself? Not at all attractive, is it? Oh dear, well, the police got the wrong one there, because it was definitely him who was trying to get in here. Oh dear me nose. And 200 miles is nothing these days with the internet and all. I might be an old lady, but there's nothing wrong with my eyesight. And my brain's all right. I'm all there with me cough drops. I was tested last week by that nice broomy man. Or was he a Geordie? Oh, I forget now. Oh, where was I? Oh yes, I was telling you about the carers. Carers, that's what they call themselves these days. Well, I keep the monitor on, have it on most of the time now, which is how I saw that one from Crime Watch. It's interesting what you see nowadays, and there's nothing on the telly, not unless you like smut. Bring back Mary Whitehouse, that's what I say. That woman spoke sense. Didn't make her very popular though, did it? But she was right, Mary Whitehouse. We got nobody to stick up for morals these days. Nowadays, people don't even stand up for the national anthem. So who's going to stand up for morals? It's all blasphemy and the F word. And I don't mean flip either. Well, I had the monitor on and I was just about to go to the loo. It's the water tablets the doctor gave me. I'm going to stop taking them. They're doing me no good at all. They're making me go all the time. I'm up and down like a yo-yo, and in the night too. I'm in and out like a fiddler's elbow. But that doctor, that GP, doesn't listen to me. I've told him those water tablets are just making me wear the carpet out between here and the bathroom. But he won't listen to me. I like the other one, the head honcho. Terrible bedside manner, my one. I don't know where they train them these days. It's like those other pills he's given me. He said they were for my bones. But he won't listen when I tell him I can't take the lemon flavour. The lemon upsets my bowels. Lemons always has done, even from when I was a young girl. Serves me out, my mother used to say to me that I must have acid in my stomach, and she was right. It stands to reason I got acid. It's always been a problem, and who would know better than my mother? I mean, well, she was right, and what could be worse than lemon for my acid? Looking back, in hindsight, that was my problem when my Malcolm was born. Couldn't feed him. Too much acid in my milk. Mind you, he's turned out to be a good lad, even so. He's in Australia now, doing something very technical with computers. It must be very important, his work, because I've not seen him for 2 years. But he rings me every month, all the way from Australia, which is why I have the atlas out. I was good at geography when I was at school. I won a prize once. I like to know where he is. Apparently it's Lithuania, so Malcolm said on the phone last night. That's why I couldn't find it on the atlas. Apparently it's somewhere near Russia, somewhere Russian. So, I mean, it stands to reason why that girl wants to leave away and get away from all those commies and come here to work. It must be terrible where she was living in this what's it. My father used to say it was the Russians that were messing about with the weather, sending all those Soyuz and rockets into space. Mind you, I don't think we should have ever trusted the Yanks either. Oversexed, overpaid and over here. That's what they used to say about them during the war when I was a girl. I never got up the courage to speak to them. Whenever they came into the shop, I always used to get Mr. Blunt to serve them, him or his wife. He didn't stand any nonsense. But I suppose they were polite in their way, always calling people ma'am. You would have thought it was the Queen they were talking to and not Mrs. Blunt, who was no better than she should have been. They were always so pushy, the Yanks, brash. My son went to America once, New York of all places. He could have been murdered in the street there and no one would have broken their stride to help him. Ooh, I nearly missed the buzzer drifting off like that. Now, who is it? Oh no, they've sent me that Precious again. His naughty Imelda. I'd rather have Imelda. Still, if I don't let Precious in, they won't send me another one. But she's rough, is Precious. Laddered me tights the first time she came. She swore she didn't, but I know better. But she's not gentle. Imelda is gentle. Ever so careful how she washes you and dresses you. But it's not her fault, Precious. They wear different clothes. Probably don't know how to manage skirts and stockings and things. When you see them on the telly, they've got sort of brightly coloured cloth sort of slung around them. So it stands to reason they wouldn't know what to do with a skirt. And probably wouldn't know what to do with a jumper either, what with it being so hot out there. I'll just have to grin and bear it. That's what you have to do when you get to my age. Grin and bear it. Now don't complain. You'll never hear me grumble. Well, that was a stroke of genius, even though I say it myself. I decided I didn't want that Precious. It's not her fault, but with this Ebola doing the rounds, I wasn't prepared to take any chances. I've seen it on the news and it turns your innards to mush. I can think of better ways to go than that. I don't buy pineapples anymore because it might be in that. Well, you never know, do you? Well, I waited. And I didn't let her in. Was that a little bit naughty of me? Instead, after a while, I pressed the emergency buzzer. And when you do that, they answer from the centre. They answer from the centre 24 hours a day. I kept myself stum. And when you do that, they have to send out the paramedics. Well, they must have been really worried about me because they sent two, Richard and Sally. Richard must do the driving or is there to look after Sally because she's only a slight lass. They were there quite quick. Well, she said it wasn't their job to put me to bed, but she did anyway. I told her my carer hadn't turned up, which wasn't exactly true. But now I come to think of it, she didn't give me enough time to get to the door, that Precious. Oh, now this morning, old trouble, the social turned up. You can't keep calling out the paramedics, she said. Why not, I said. I like that Sally, and at least they always turn up. Well now, Ada, she said to me, you seem to be having some difficulty getting to the door at times. It was her manner I didn't like, the way she said seem and times. She put a lot of stress on those words, as if she didn't believe me. I gave her a hard stare, but I don't think she noticed. So I circled around for me hanky and gave me nose a good hard blow. That got her attention. I think she thought I might cry if she was hard on me. I'm here, she said, to see if there's a problem with the carers. Then I started to worry. I thought that if I said yes, I wouldn't see Imelda again, and I like Imelda. Sally, the paramedic's very kind, but she won't put me up a hot water bottle. Only Imelda does that. I didn't want to get Imelda into trouble. She might lose her job or something. So I said no. I like Imelda. She's very kind and very caring. And what about the other carers? She asked. I fiddled around with me hanky. Well, you never know who you're going to get these days, I said. And we're always told not to let strangers in because that's for the good of the safety of all in the flats. Very socially responsible of you, Ada, she said to me. In my day, it was called looking out for your neighbours. So, did you miss Precious when she called, she asked. Which one's Precious, I asked. But I think she knew that I knew really. Precious has been before, the social said. Imelda introduced her to you. But when she came, she couldn't get a reply from you. And then you told the paramedics that no one had been. Maybe your buzzer wasn't working. There was quite a stretch of silence then. Embarrassing like. And the woman from the social watching me carefully all the time. Well, somebody had to say something, didn't they? So I blurted it all out about not wanting me innards turning to mush and how I don't buy pineapples anymore. And I added bananas for emphasis. Although I like a banana now and again, so it seems worth the risk. Well, I've never liked social workers. The woman smirked. She smirked. I would have wiped that off her face in my prime, I can tell you. I can assure you, Ada, she said, The corners of her mouth were twitching up as if she was talking to some imbecile. That there is no more risk of you catching Ebola from one of your carers than from a banana. And then she left. Well, she was shaking when she left. Well, serves her right if she's going down with something. Well, I'm still not convinced about this Ebola. Oh, there's the buzzer again. Let me just check the monitor.